Hi everyone, my name is Patrick Hughes and the title of my unit is called Let's Get Cookin'.
The unit is divided into two lessons, with both components designed to help foster independence and bolster the students' basic life skills. Specifically, this unit focuses on introducing students with severe physical and cognitive disabilities to a kitchen or food prep environment, with an emphasis placed on identifying useful tools and resources and learning how to safely navigate through this unique setting. It is the goal of our classroom staff, our students, and their parents that not only will teaching this information help prevent the students from potentially being seriously injured in a kitchen accident, it also provides the students with an opportunity to acquire an essential set of skills, greatly increasing their chances of leading at least some degree of an autonomous lifestyle. Despite the overwhelmingly positive impact curriculum units such as this one can have on the lifetime outcomes of students with disabilities, the Massachusetts curriculum frameworks incorporates an extremely limited number of standards which address these diverse learning needs. In effect, a majority of the goals and objectives for our life skills units are formed via a collaborative effort between our classroom staff, our students' parents, and the rest of the students' IEP team. This unified approach allows us to more acutely focus on each of the myriad learning goals our students possess. Our class at the McGlynn Middle School, located in Medford, Massachusetts, is classified as a sub-separate environment, with all of our students possessing disabilities severe enough that it inhibits their ability to participate in an inclusive environment. While the rest of the classroom staff and I sometimes feel like we're slightly isolated from the rest of the school, every now and then our students will express their preference for our classroom over other educational settings. I really can't disagree with them though. Our room is awesome. In addition to having a 1-to-1 student-teacher ratio, our physical environment includes a fully functioning kitchen, washer-dryer, and private bathroom. While it's pretty wonderful having access to a private bathroom, the addition of the kitchen area allows our classroom to become an incredibly versatile learning environment. I know that a great number of educators have had limited experiences working with students with severe disabilities, so the next several slides will focus on providing a thorough profile of the students in my class and their diverse learning needs. Although I will be highlighting a number of specific examples of these learning needs, I encourage all of you to read the slides in their entirety and hopefully discover something new and interesting about these types of learners. The first student I would like to introduce is a 12-year-old female who I will refer to as Betty. As you can see within the first bullet point, Betty has cerebral palsy, with the disorder primarily impacting her mobility and communication skills. Although Betty also exhibits certain cognitive delays, it is difficult to determine if these are the result of CP or her extremely limited educational background. Despite certain physical and cognitive deficits, Betty is an incredibly independent and sociable girl who loves saying hi to every person she passes in the hallway. Furthermore, she may be the only 12-year-old I know who, during free choice time, will decide to fold laundry or wipe down dirty desktops. While our staff admires and encourages her independence, there were several instances over the past year where her self-sufficiency was negatively impacted by her attention issues and distractibility. For example, Betty switched from a manual power wheelchair to a motorized power chair. While learning how to operate the controls of the chair and navigate throughout the school, there were multiple incidents where Betty would become distracted, not look where she was going, and crash her chair into walls and lockers as well as other students and staff members. In addition to her attention issues, Betty also exhibits specific behavioral issues including noncompliance, loud outbursts, and crying tantrums when working with non-preferred staff members. Betty uses a mood thermometer to help her regulate her emotional responses. Not only does the mood thermometer keep Betty mindful of her emotional state, the one we use also features illustrated strategy suggestions which Betty can access when she feels her emotions shifting. And here is an example of Betty's mood thermometer that she will use throughout the lessons. The next student I will be discussing I will refer to as Oliver. Similar to Betty, Oliver's primary diagnosis is also CP, but his symptoms are more pronounced. Unfortunately, Oliver has little to no muscular control from the neck down and is entirely dependent on others for completing some of the most basic daily tasks, such as feeding himself and using the toilet. Furthermore, Oliver's muscular issues make it difficult for him to verbally communicate using anything more than single words or short phrases, often using head switches preloaded with a limited number of lesson-specific words and phrases. Unfortunately, these limited verbal skills have hindered his development as a writer. In addition to his physical needs, our class's lesson plans must also account for Oliver's cognitive deficits. For example, after transitioning from one activity to the next within a single lesson plan, Oliver will often become confused about what he is supposed to be doing, attempting to still follow the instructions from the previous activity, rather than following the instructions for his new task. In order to help alleviate this issue, Oliver uses a first and then board, which provides him with a visual support that sequences all of the lesson's activities. If it appears Oliver is starting to become confused about what he is supposed to be doing, a staff member will prompt him to look at the board with stickers indicating which activities are finished. This is an example of what Oliver's head switches look like with speakers attached, as well as his first and then board. The final student I will be introducing you to, I will refer to as Susie. While I have met Susie before, she'll be first entering our class this fall. In effect, the majority of the information I have about Susie comes almost solely from her IEP rather than direct observational evidence. That being said, Susie sounds like she is slightly more academically advanced than the other students in our class. Although her work in all academic areas is still well below grade level, she is making progress, especially in regards to reading and writing, advancing a level in each subject last year. It appears Susie's most significant cognitive deficits comes in the form of memory retrieval, particularly word recall. In an effort to help Susie overcome her issues with memory, she uses visual aids such as illustrated flashcards and pocket mods. In regards to life skills, Susie is very self-sufficient and independent, but her parents would like her to see her start developing some vocational skills, which could make her more employable in the future. After reviewing our class's curriculum, her parents were pleased to see this kitchen safety unit, believing that she could eventually work in a restaurant setting, but nervous about her getting hurt while operating the potentially dangerous tools found in the kitchen. On that note, let's take a look at what activities the students will be completing as part of this mini-unit. And here's an example of a pocket mod that Susie may utilize. Although the primary focus of this mini-unit is on kitchen safety, our students require a significant amount of background information before introducing a novel idea or concept. As a result, the first day of the mini-unit is dedicated to getting the students excited about cooking and being in the kitchen, as well as acquiring several key vocabulary words and concepts. The lesson will open with a brief class-wide discussion of the students' favorite foods that they have cooked for them at home, with the intent being to get the students excited about the potential of eventually cooking their own meals. A staff member will compile a list of the students' responses on the class whiteboard. Once this list has been compiled, the lesson will fully begin, with a staff member verbally introducing the mini-unit while writing the unit and lesson objectives on a whiteboard. The first activity for this lesson consists of the students viewing a PowerPoint presentation which introduces a variety of cooking tools commonly found in the kitchen. During the presentation, each cooking tool will be introduced over the course of 3 consecutive slides. The first containing an unlabeled picture of a cooking tool, the second slide features the same picture but now with a label, and the final slide containing the name of the tool as well as a list of uses and a list of related verbs associated with that tool. For each cooking tool, students will be prompted to either guess what the name of the unlabeled cooking tool is or to make a guess about what it is used for. Following the PowerPoint presentation, a staff member will lead the students to the kitchen within the classroom and provide live action demonstrations as to how each tool is properly used. While watching the demonstrations, students with memory deficits will have access to either a Cooking Tools Pocket Mod featuring words and images from the PowerPoint, or an iPad with the Cooking Tools PowerPoint pulled up on the screen. After the live action demonstrations, the students will return to their workstations and complete their choice of one of 3 independent practice activities. Either a split-page word and picture matching activity, a word web, or a fill-in-the-blanks worksheet. The primary objective for the Day 2 lesson will be for students to be able to differentiate between safe and unsafe situations in a kitchen setting. Following a brief vocabulary review, the students will watch a video on the computer focusing on kitchen safety. The video is great especially for younger students as it features quick but funny demonstrations of various kitchen-related safe or unsafe scenarios. I've used it in class before and the students have really enjoyed it, as well as kept their attention. After the video, the students will return to the kitchen area and watch the staff members demonstrate additional safe and unsafe scenarios. Finally, following a choice of 2 independent practice activities, a staff member will distribute and read aloud the safety rules while cooking contract. In addition to the students' copies, the contract will be posted in the kitchen area as a reminder of the rules, with the students' signatures giving them a feeling of ownership over the contract's terms. Given my students' diverse learning profiles, all of our classes' lesson plans must adhere to the principle of UDL. Even though my original lesson plan already took UDL into account, this project gave me the opportunity to examine our previous practices, making slight improvements where necessary. For example, prior to reviewing the educator's checklist, the lesson plan originally called for all of our written responses to be dictated and scribed by a classroom staff member. After reviewing the checklist, I realized the lesson was restricting Oliver's opportunity to fully participate, as he was not being provided with a choice of methods for responding. As a result, I incorporated a combination of the camera mouse program, an on-screen keyboard, and Microsoft Word into the lesson plan. This system now allows Oliver to control a mouse based on the movements of his head, with the mouse subsequently operating the on-screen keyboard.